Hi, welcome to ThinkTech. We are raising public awareness about energy, technology, globalism, and diversification. This show is Center Stage. I am your host, Donna Blanchard, very proud Managing Director of Kumukuhua Theater. We're coming to you live from Pioneer Plaza in the heart of downtown Honolulu, very near Kumukuhua Theater. My guest today is Rich Richardson. We're going to get to Rich in just a moment. I am so anxious to talk with him. First, I'm going to tell you a couple of other things. Our show is streamed on ustream.tv and Spreaker.com. All of our shows run live on thinktechhawaii.com, and you can also find all of our archived shows there and on YouTube. If you would ever like to be a guest in our studio audience downtown, contact Jay at thinktechhawaii.com. Rich Richardson is the executive director of the Arts at Mark's Garage right here in Chinatown, the Academy of Performing Arts, which is also known as HAPA, and the Chinatown Artists Lofts. There's a lot going on with you, Rich, and I'm so happy that you're here to talk about it.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, thank you for being here. So the biggest thing right now, I love the Arts at Mark's Garage. You have such a wide variety of artistic offerings there at all times. I love that we have that downtown. But the biggest news right now is that you're working your way through a renovation there.
Yeah, that's right. We're very excited. We just turned a corner from nervous to excited, which is an amazing achievement. And I'm getting all kinds of nice compliments from our partners who walk in and go, "Oh, it looks so good. I'm really jazzed about this change." So I think we've all been holding our breath, waiting to see what would happen and how it would turn out, and we're in the midst of it now. So I can't give you final details, but so far it's looking pretty good.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's say this up front. Mark's Garage has an art gallery.
Right.
You always, seems to me, you always have something going on in your lobby space. You have a performance space that can be used for all sorts of performance. You know?
Right, multi-purpose, black box theater.
Yeah, and very versatile. And then you have offices for your partners who rent space, artists who rent space for their offices there.
That's kind of the tripod of Mark's Garage, and we have other programs as well, our youth programs, our work in community celebrations, the artist lofts, etc. But the office space, the gallery space, and the performance space are our big departments, if you will, and we're tackling the office space right now, so that's exciting.
Okay, is there anything changing about the lobby space or the performance space?
Performance space will get a makeover, including 120 new chairs, which is long overdue, and they look great, so I'm excited about that. I've scoured the entire globe via the World Wide Web and found them at Fisher Hawaii on 4th Street Mall.
Are you kidding me?
I'm not kidding you. And they were a good deal, and they're just what we wanted, so.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I'm so excited
awesome.
about that, yeah.
I'm jealous that you're getting new chairs. I didn't look at Fisher.
It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe it. I think I was at that breaking point where someone just says, okay, let's give him some chairs. Come on, he's been looking for 2 years. So there they were on about 50 yards away from our front door. So that was great.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's getting new chairs and new technical stuff.
Yes, our partner Garrick from On the Spot Improv Theater is up there on a ladder probably again today, inventorying everything that we have and deciding what we need to change out. So the technology won't be state of the art probably, but repairing what we do have, making sure everything's running well and safe. So definite upgrade for us, and I'm really happy that Garrick's so generous with his time to lend us a hand on this, because he uses the theater space more than most, and he's invested, and that's how our partnerships work. It's really a nice benefit to working with a large group of people.
Yeah. Okay, so then the gallery space, is that going to get any changes?
Gallery space, I've been pretty happy with it. We do 12 different shows per year. It's a very busy schedule for any gallery. They're all community driven. It's small groups of people that approach us or people that we invite to exhibit their visual arts. It's served us very, very well for the past 14 years. I think this is our 14th year at the Arts at Marx. But I think we're going to give it a quick kind of makeover as we do other things. We're going to sand the walls, new coat of paint. We have some heavy-duty 60-year-old cement concrete walls that are really hard to hang art on. So we're going to probably cover those with some ply or some drywall and just spiff it up a little bit.
Yeah, I've wondered about that actually when I've seen your exhibits, how difficult it must be to make decisions about where you're putting things. Sometimes is it because there's already a big screw in that wall?
Yeah, a lot of the times it's, yeah, we use what we've created a pattern over the 120 shows that we've had there, or more, sorry, but there's a lot of stuff that's reusable, and we're pretty close to the bones operating expenses wise. We are very resourceful, and we've used the same equipment for a long while now, so some of that will get upgraded, which I'm really happy about.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And then the offices are getting redone. You have sort of cubicles. Last time I was back there, you had cubicles for maybe 7 people were in there?
Yeah, we have a total of 13 partners at the Arts at Marx Garage. Some of them don't use the cubicle spaces, so that there are a half a dozen cubicle office spaces available, and some of those are split in 2. And we have some closable private offices as well. So those were used Herman Miller office furniture in the 1980s when we got them, or they were
really already used.
Yeah, they're already used and very much ready for an update. So instead of throwing them in the trash and buying something again like that, we've stripped them down and refinished them. And so we're salvaging the wood that they covered with their material and putting a varnish on it, and it looks great. So
nice.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. So it's kind of a reuse, recycle look that is very pleasing, very warm, and very maybe industrial as compared to kind of that kind of corporate cubicle look.
Warm and industrial.
Yeah,
That's
I
an
think so.
interesting combination
I think so. Yeah.
terms there.
Yeah.
What a lot of people don't, when you go to see a show at Marx Garage, like the Shakespeare Festival is housed there every summer, I think a lot of people don't realize that all the shows run so tight and professionally. When you're sitting in the theater, you don't realize that those actors are in the back amongst those cubicles, and there is no dressing room. Well, there's a little changing room, but it is it's kind of amazing what comes out of that space. You must still be a little amazed at what you see there.
Yeah, it is pretty shocking sometimes who walks by dressed in what, but it's a great place for that reason. And the actors mixing with the visual artists, mixing with the patrons, amongst the office cubicles, all of that stuff lends to a certain kind of liveliness that doesn't happen elsewhere, which I like about it. It's very, very busy, that space. Sometimes there's up to 20 people in a Shakespeare production, as you know, and I'm really happy to report that we've added quite a bit of green room space in our renovations. So
that's exciting.
They won't have to get changed amongst someone's tax returns and pencil cases. They'll have an official area to get prepared to go on to stage. Also, we are extending our floor space in the theater area so that we have a full third more chair capacity than we have right now.
Oh, well, I wondered when you said 120 chairs that you usually seat 100 or less.
Quite a bit less than 100 has been the standard lately because of the condition of our older chairs. But now we're adding floor space or chair space that could help our revenue stream. If we're able to
nice.
sell more tickets, we'll do a little bit better at the box office. So I'm excited to see how that pans out.
Yeah.
And a sacrifice of a little bit of gallery space, a few square feet, for a big green room and a nice bit of, I'm able to put 20 more chairs in there. So that's
cool.
exciting about that.
I have, the only show that I've done there was the Vagina Monologues last year, and it was an interesting experience to be, you know, you're an actor. I was a spoiled actor, you know, and I'm accustomed to being in a room separate where you don't worry about running into your audience, and you're back there and you're preparing and you're with the rest of the cast, and then the house opens, or once people start coming in, if they have to go to the bathroom, they're walking right by you. Talk about a community experience. And then, of course, during intermission, it's nearly impossible to be away from, you know, lines of people. It added a different dimension to the work for me. It made me think about, why do I need to be alone, you know, in a private room with the other actors and away from these people for whom with whom I'm performing. You know, in a theater that small, you're working with everybody else, and it made me rethink when I'm seeing a show there and I go back and go to the bathroom and there's you know the artists around. So it sounds like you're not going to have so much of that anymore, but I'll tell you that it was interesting, and it sort of, it added to the experience in a surprising way for me.
That's probably one of my favorite moments that happens at Mark's, is when you see someone come in after their day job. They set their book bag on the table and they take a moment before they're performing and they transform themselves. They have a new energy when they come out, and we're able to witness that. So that's, I think, what you're referring to. But that transformation of that person into a performer for that evening is really kind of the magic that we traffic in. You know, that's a pretty special gift that performers are giving to the public, and I think it's a transformative experience for them as well. It's really nice to be able to witness that in some small way. I think that's an important moment.
I think so too, and it made it more of a communal experience, even more than Kumukuhua, where we are sharing the same common space with the audience there.
And I heard you have the big champagne buckets and
At Kumukuhua, yeah. So when did you start the renovations?
We just started at the beginning of, it's just been a few weeks now, a couple of weeks now.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you had was it a Kickstarter campaign or Indiegogo? How did you start that?
We had Indiegogo. We did pretty well on that. We also had some funding from Hullabaloo, the street festival, right around October, end of October for Halloween season, which is a big thing for us. Unfortunately, they were both at the same time, so we were kind of competing with ourselves, which was very odd, awkward. So we'll never do that again. But between those two funding streams and a generous grant from the Atherton folks, we're able to piece together a renovation that's going to make everybody behold Mark's Garage again with new eyes, I believe, and see it for the resource that it is for the community. The transformation is physical, but it's also organizational. So we're going to kind of unveil how we work in a more public way. Restructure our partnership rates and publicity. Make it more obvious that you too could have a space here and put on an exhibit or a show if you were interested. I think it's a well-kept secret. Unfortunately, I'm so close to it, I don't realize that people don't know that we're here for them in that way.
Okay, right. Hold on for just a minute. We're going to take a break, and then I'd like to come back and come right back there to that point. Okay, We will be right back. Please stay put. We're talking with Rich Richardson of the Arts at Mark's Garage. Stay put.
Aloha, I'm Kili'i Akina, president of the Grassroot Institute and host on Ehana Kako, a weekly program on the ThinkTech Hawaii broadcast network. Ehana Kako means let's work together. Think of the sad alternative, let's not work together. Here in Hawaii, with all of our diversity and the richness of the people, it's important for us to come together around issues on the basis of what's right, and what's good, and what's going to serve the common good. And that's what we try to do at Ehana Kako. Every week, we interview movers and shakers, people in government, business, and other sectors of society to talk about how to create together a better government, economy, a better world here in Hawaii that can bless the rest of the world. I thank you for your attention to ThinkTech Hawaii, and we look forward to seeing you every Monday, 2 to 3 p.m. on the ThinkTech Hawaii Broadcast Network. We're Ehana Kako, and we wish you well. Aloha.
Hi, we're back and we are live. This show is Center Stage on the ThinkTech Hawaii Digital Series. I am Donna Blanchard and I am talking with Rich Richardson, who is the, what's your title? Executive Director of the Arts at Mark's Garage, HAPA, and the Chinatown Artist Lofts. We're talking about the renovation now of the Arts at Mark's Garage. The Atherton Foundation is really fabulous when it comes to renovations. They're helping us do some repair some structural work at Kumukuhu as well. I can't say enough about how much we appreciate them.
Oh yeah, I'm so thankful for that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've opened our doors to be a kind of resource for visitors to Chinatown as well, and that was their impetus for investing in us, is to give us another way to kind of interface with the public that's more than our arts community, that's more I know a bigger range of visitors and the general public.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
so that was their inspiration, was seeing us kind of grow as a kind of concierge for the neighborhood. We've developed this little map system of different retail and restaurants and this kind of renaissance of Chinatown. We kind of we're a spot where people can come get information about where to go and what to do. So,
because I don't want to jump too far ahead, but weren't you integral in starting First Fridays?
yeah, I mean, it's a team, definitely a team effort. Has been all the way along, but we were one of the first. We were the first institution to kind of jump on that and help herd the cats, and I'm really glad we did. I was skeptical, to be honest, but we had two or three galleries on the first one, and 75 people, maybe 6 of them were in my family. So it was very low expectations in the beginning, and it got so incredibly large. You could see it from outer space. So, and it's on. It's
Really?
It's on the wane again now, but it ebbs and flows. The neighborhood changes and the character changes. But I've been fortunate to be able to watch the progress, ups and downs. But it's the graph that goes up and down, but mostly it's going
Mostly it's
up.
up.
Yeah.
And I will say, on First Fridays, Mark's Garage is always one of the first places that I go to and sort of get the lay of the land. And okay, this is where we're going to go next. And what we're going to do.
I appreciate that. I think that's that hub reference point reputation that we've developed over time, and that's really the artists who've done that, who are the magnets, who've brought their family and friends to join them for a special evening down there, and created the phenomena that is First Friday, and also the kind of reference point for the area that other people enjoy now as well.
Yeah.
I have to give them the credit for doing that. I think that they were excited to have a space to show, and they spread the word like paid advertising can't do. You know,
Right.
they really put us on the map in a way that can't be bought.
It's word of mouth, man.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where that just came from. I just sent out a survey to our audience from the show this past weekend, and I always ask, how did you hear about us? And it's word of mouth. You can spend so much money on advertising, and we love advertising. We love our advertising partners, but you can't beat word of mouth. And that Mark's Garage and First Friday and the Artist Lofts, all of this creates such a a welcoming feel of we're creating something here and you can be a part of it. I really think so. I really think it's inspiring as an artist myself. And later on in the evening, it's a great place to just party like a rock star. But to start off, there's these great galleries that are open, and the shops. Owens and Company and Roberta Oaks are open, and it's a very nice feel. I understand that Hotel Street is not going to be closed anymore for First Friday, so there's talk of that being the case.
Yeah, which is troubling for safety, because our instinct was to protect the pedestrians from those buses. It's a narrow street. It's buses only, but those buses are huge on that little street. So there's not a lot of room for error.
Right.
And so anyway, we initiated that change years ago with the full support of the city and the police and Department of Transportation Services and the rest of them. We've worked together as a team well for many, many years. There's a change in how it's perceived. I'm not sure I have the time to get involved too much anymore. I have to pay attention to what's happening a little bit closer to home these days. Managing Arts at Marks and the lofts and the many programs that we do kind of requires a little bit more than I've got. So I feel a little bit stretched to manage the whole phenomena that involves probably 80 or more local businesses. It's different than when it started and it was 5 galleries, where we were happily in charge, or happily co-steering a ship, But it's a little bit bigger than I can handle.
Yeah.
So I have to let it play out and see what happens, and hopefully it takes a different character.
It's a shame having that street closed. Made it nice and convenient to cross the street. But I think maybe there will be some other people within the neighborhood who will step up and fight that fight. And I hope that it doesn't take an accident for anybody to see that we should keep that road closed on those evenings.
There's something to be said for not only the safety factor, but that spirit of the public gathering space. I'm thinking of like a fountain in Rome, or the Zocalo in Mexico, where you have a place where people gather in the evening, and it's young and old. It's strollers and people on dates, and it's everything in between and after.
Yeah.
And that public sense of kind of the common. Of that street being claimed by people for their enjoyment, for their recreation, for their socialization with possible neighbors, friends, partners to be, that kind of gathering that's relatively unstructured within the confines of that beautiful neighborhood is the real tragedy of that change. I like it when it's open and you have that town square feel.
Yeah.
That's a really rare space and should be cherished. You're not in a mall there. You don't have to buy anything. You're just enjoying each other's company, and that gives a sense of positivity of kind of a refreshing ritual to look forward to every month.
Yeah, it's
and
a neighborhood.
I need to see that happen more. That's not less.
Yeah.
So I hope that it will morph into something different, and we can reclaim some of that spirit of our community gathering together.
Yeah. I've run across that street because I saw someone I knew on the other side, and then just stood and chatted for a while. And you're right, it is strollers along with, Halloween down there. It's, it's a lot of fun, but you see people are gathering and talking and taking selfies in the middle of the street. It's nice. It's I think Chinatown, some people think of Chinatown as that place to go and party like a rock star, but it's a community. I walk down the street and you see people you know, and you talk about projects that you're working on and where you're going and what's, who's doing what over there, and let's go.
That's the real value of that as well, is that you've got a bunch of creative people down there, and that's a really valuable proposition. Industry follows those people. If they see them gathering in a particular area, new businesses will spring up around those people. That's the resource that they need, is creative thinkers. So events like that are valuable in an economic sense as well. Not just the dollars and cents that you're spending that night in local businesses,
Right.
but more, this is the resources that we have. These are all creative people intermingling and sharing ideas and prospects and leads with each other. It really does happen like that. So
yeah.
very, very valuable gathering to pay attention to.
Yeah. So, do you want to talk a little bit more about your office space? And you said you're going to be unveiling. Can we get a sneak peek at the way in which that is structured, how that works?
Well, I can walk you through the dream scenario. I think the budget, the things that we're finding along the way, we're uncovering, we're unsurfacing as we move through the space, may halt work at one point or another. But our dream is to reconfigure the front as you approach Mark's Garage. We have this very valuable little tiny, well, I call it the Great Lawn, but it's about 30 square feet. But it's grass in the middle of Chinatown, and it's got a beautiful sculpture at the front greeting people. And I want to kind of capitalize on that little sense of place and have some outdoor furniture out there that people, Kazu is the sculptor, by the way. Beautiful kind of totemic Hawaiian piece on the front lawn. Some lawn chair out there. I'm hoping to get somebody to do some vending on a permanent, maybe regular basis out in front, coffee or ice cream or something along those lines. So inside we're going to have a new front desk that has the capacity to split into 2 or 3 pieces. Rollable vend tickets, work at 10 bar. We have a liquor permit as a nonprofit. Every so often we're able to get a permit, and that's a good fundraiser for us. So we'll have a new front desk, new signage as you walk in. I'm working with artist friends on the treatment of that front area so it's more inviting. Posters will come down off of our front glass and onto some kind of official kind of podium that sits inside the space a little bit. We walk through the gallery, it'll be jazzed up a little bit. The white box effect, very clean, that anything will fit nicely into. As an artist, you want to look in and go, wow, that place looks pretty sharp, I want to show there. And we want to spiff our place up so it looks good like that again. In the performance space, it'll be repainted. We'll have a bigger space, new chairs, fixed up lights, new sound system, cubicles completely reconfigured, a nice design. I've got my fingers crossed. It's coming along really well. And I'm not sure we're going to be able to afford to do any work on the bathrooms this run, but maybe somewhere along the lines next year for our 15th anniversary. Do another round of improvements, but we'll see how it goes.
Are you still seeking funding for this?
I'm going to work with what we have and see how far we get. And like I say, we're resourceful. We have a lot of fun, fine, imaginative people that are helping us. So we feel wealthy in that department. No shortage of good ideas and people that are willing to lend a hand when it's necessary. So that's a good resource.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have anything going while you're going through the renovations? Are you functioning?
Yeah, we have two I call them lofters. There's 2 artists, very fine pen and ink by Chris Goto, and Eric West has done a series of mixed media paintings, both reacting to the same menu of body parts. It's called The Body Farm. It's a beautiful show, kind of what we do best. It's experimental. It's very fresh. It's a place for them to kind of stretch as artists. They filled the gallery very nicely. It's very pleasing and fun to kind of figure out what part that is and what part that that is.
That sounds like
so
fun.
yeah, it's a good show. And in the meantime, we also have our performances going on.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. Zuri just told me that Chris Goto, he was on the show. We had him not too long ago. Oh, I'm sorry, Eric West.
Eric West, yeah.
I would like to come down and check that out, and we're going to
Yeah.
take a quick break.
Okay.
We're going to be right back. Stay right there. See you soon.
Aloha, Yappers. This is your host, Kingsley, for the Yap Show. Every Friday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern Time. You can catch us here live, ThinkTech Hawaii, and then later on, we upload to our YouTube channel. We talk about youth issues, policies, youth programs, and how to transition yourself into adulthood.
But this was like a sign, I guess. Hey, life's like, hey,
Right.
now's your chance to go back to school, which I'm doing.
Catch us here again live, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. Hawaii Standard Time. Aloha.
Hi, we're back. That was a short break. Do you feel rested and relaxed after that
Yeah,
break?
it's nice to have some time off. That was.
I really needed that. So, do you mind if I'd like to ask just a little bit about you? You are involved in some really cool stuff between the Arts at Mark's Garage, HAPA, and the Artist Loft. So maybe we have precious little time left, but maybe can we go back in your history a little bit and talk about, it was 14 years ago you started Mark's Garage. Where did the idea come from for that? About HAPA and the Artist Lofts, how did those things unfold? You're an artist yourself, right?
Yeah, right now I'm finding myself just struggling with insurance, grant writing, leasing, all the things that come with adulthood.
Amen, brother. I hear you.
So I'm a long way from my street art roots, I have to say. But I'm a kind of a dedicated soldier for the arts in general, and the media doesn't matter to me, which is good for my position. I studied multidisciplinary art at a interdisciplinary program, one of the first of its kind in the nation, and we had to learn a little bit about everything. So that means I'm a master of none of it, but I did study a little bit of improv and acting and painting and sculpture and sound and video and all this stuff. So that was my degree.
Where was that?
San Francisco State University.
Oh, okay.
So it's perfect for the Arts at Mark's because we have no hierarchy, and a lot of those things are happening. And I know a little tiny bit about each, so I feel very fortunate. Mark's Garage, I was hired as Guy Friday. I had a small gallery across the street called Salon 5, based on this idea that no matter where you were, you could put together a cadre of people to share what you loved with. And in my case, it would be mostly visual arts, but I also had some of the same people that you see at Mark's Garage today. Improv troupes and people playing violin from swings on the ceiling, and it was a very interesting little gallery experience, and I got hired across the street at Mark's Garage about 14 years ago, just to help out.
Oh, okay.
I
Who
kind
started
of,
it?
It was Hawaii Arts Alliance, and the city was very, very helpful, by the way, in trying to bring some economic vitality to that part of the town, which was really kind of considered a no man's land. When I moved in there, the police thought I was a drug dealer, and the drug dealers thought I was a policeman. So I was really walking a uncomfortable line for several years there. But with Hawaii Theater, planting seeds there, and Mark's Garage opening up, it began to change fairly rapidly. Not too fast for comfort, but definitely a nice progression over the years. Artist Lofts, we figured that we wanted to create an ecosystem to support the gallery and the performance area. The best way we thought to do that would be to have artists living in the neighborhood, to really kind of beef up the presence of the artists in the neighborhood. We wanted to establish some live-work spaces. I met the Hunts, who own the Mendonca building, and we've been working together for about 7 years to put together a kind of shared responsibility for the upper floor of that 110-year-old building. Dream come true. There's 13 people up there that are working together nicely, and a nice little neighborhood feel, lots of synergy. I wrote about it, and now I'm seeing it happen.
Wow.
So it's very hands-off. I don't say you have to have spaghetti dinner every Wednesday together. They mix and mingle and make things happen together themselves. So that kind of brings us back to the gallery show with 2 of them showing at Mark's right now.
Oh, okay. Very cool. And the programming with Hapa, how did that start?
Hapa was started by Lee Gordon, a theater training nonprofit in 1996, I believe, that was dormant for a while. Lee was an original partner at the Arts at Mark's Garage. He said, if you ever need my help with this, or can use this nonprofit for one of your projects, let me know. And we certainly did for the lofts. So we dusted off Hapa and took on the Artist Lofts project, and then Hawaii Arts Alliance offered us the Arts at Mark's Garage, offered us the management duties at the Arts at Mark's Garage. So we took that on as well.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize how all of that came together before.
So that's been several years now. That's when I gave up the making art and just, managing this space, because it was a big jump in responsibility.
Okay. Yeah, it's a big, I'm telling you right now, as someone who's performing in our current show and being the managing director of the theater, it's hard to bring those worlds together for any length of time. It takes a lot of different energies.
Yeah, 2 different hemispheres of your brain.
Yeah.
So,
They sometimes knock into each other.
yeah.
So you have programs, you offer some sort of programming for students, particularly for some underserved communities, don't you?
We have a program kicking off this year that is engaging kids from low-income housing, and which Chinatown has a lot of. We have a good reputation with them, doing kids programming after school, late afternoons. They come in, they get mentorships with the artists that live at the lofts, or the people that are partners at Mark's Garage who love to share what they do. So it's a kind of a win-win for the kids and for the artists, because the artists get to practice sharing what they love. It's a kind of a curricula. They're developing a curriculum, and they're able to share their knowledge with a bunch of teams that are gobbling it up. They're hungry to learn something as fun as videography or acting or makeup or costuming, and they're doing all kinds of different skills that isn't offered in a typical school setting. So for them, it's a real nice space to spend a couple hours in the afternoons, and for us, it kind of fulfills that mission where you feel like you're giving back to your neighborhood. You're not just for a particular set of people, but you're actually helping kind of raise the profile of the arts, sure, but also the number of opportunities that are perceived by the kids that live there. And I think that's where I get excited, is that our next project is about taking on some of those more dingy parts of Chinatown and fixing them up in a very, very small, almost imperceptible way with little pieces of art that are installed. The message is, it may seem unsurmountable, but you can change even this if you try, and why not anything else in your life? So I think it's going to be a good program. It's called Generation of Smiles.
Oh, very nice. Do you miss the opportunity to be an artist yourself? You're doing God's work, as far as I'm concerned, but do you?
I just get super excited to have any opportunity to paint, to think about painting, to write. I'll find more excuses to do it more often. But it definitely helps me in my real world work to be more creative as I approach something that's as insurmountable as grant writing. If I've got my creative juices flowing, it's easier.
You got to feed to that part of your brain.
Right.
Yeah. When I started managing a theater, I took up painting. And I took it up just because I was like, I've got to do something, and that was something I had always wanted to try. And strictly for myself, it was so helpful to do that, or to sit down and I play my little ukulele at home, and it makes me feel more like who I am.
Right. That's important.
Yeah. So we have for probably 3 minutes. Can we? Who are some of the partners who are in the Arts at Mark's Garage now? Who share space there?
Well, we have some great partners. Hawaii Women in Filmmaking, who do wonderful work and empowering female voices in media. Hawaii Shakespeare Fest, who always twist the traditional plays up with some kind of surprise twist. I love what they do through puppetry, or there's always some gender bending experiment going on, or it's very interesting what they do. We have You Speaks Hawaii, Pacific Tongues, who are phenomenally successful at getting kids to sit down and write poetry and perform it in a way that's profoundly moving.
Yeah.
Amazing work that they do. The mentors are very dedicated, and it's really powerful stuff. We've got some dancers on board. We've got Garrick with his improv troupe I mentioned earlier, who's graduated from part-time partner to hosting his own improv festival that brings in, I think, 20-something troops from around the world now.
Yeah, that we
It's
partner, partners.
Oh, you were
with.
part of that, that's right.
Yeah.
Very powerful transformation of an individual artist taking on a kind of media like that. I really like that. Now he's getting into board games, so we'll see where that goes. But that's always something cooking there that's pretty interesting, you know. So.
You have an amazing group of people down there. The synergy, I think it's palpable, the synergy of artists that you have going on in that building. It's sort of like, you know Rei-Chung Fujihara, who has Box Jelly?
I don't know him, but I've heard a lot about it, yeah.
It's the same sort of thing, but more, you know, the business engineering sort of side of things. But it's when you bring talented and passionate people together in the same space. I think I read some article about you, because I stalked you a little bit before the show, some article where you said it's about coming together. I think you mentioned the spaghetti dinner, you know, when you, you have to actually bring people together face to face. That's a lot of that is what Mark's Garage and the Artists' Lofts and First Friday are about, is coming face to face and sharing. And then things bubble up as a result of that, and we're more than the sum of our parts when that happens.
Yeah, it's an amazing collaboration and synergy that's occurring there. So I'm really proud to be a part of it.
Wonderful. And so we don't know exactly when to expect all of the renovations to be completed, but we can go down and check them out anytime. And your website is it Arts at Mark's?
Artsatmarks.com.
Artsatmarks.com. And you have a newsletter that you can sign up for there, and I find that very valuable.
It's long, and there's so much going on. I want to cut it in half, but you don't want to send out too much email. So yeah, we're a busy place. 150 performances a year.
And don't you reach something crazy like 60,000 people a year or some?
45 at last count.
Oh, well, you know.
Yeah.
45,000 people a year.
Yeah, it's a busy place, but yeah, it's a powerful little clubhouse, I think.
It's a clubhouse. I like that. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
I really appreciate it, and I appreciate everything that you're doing, the Arts at Mark's Garage and Hapa and the Chinatown Artists' Lofts. So we have to go. Sorry. I've enjoyed our time here today, but I want to thank a few people before I go. Our studio engineer, Zuri Bender, who is in my ear, Sachi Slomov, who is our floor manager, who's right over there, and Jay Fidel, who somehow manages to put all of this together. We hope to see you next week on Center Stage on the ThinkTech Hawaii digital series. Bye.